Yes, everybody, good morning. Welcome back to Forever United TV. Hope you are doing fantastically well. Welcome along to your morning live update show, whether you're on the way to school, on the way to work. Keep your ears peeled. I've got you fully covered with everything that is going on with United. Get your comments in the live section, as long as you're not driving or listening in, something like that. Make sure that you're at a desk or comfortable before you start typing. Don't want to get people in trouble. We're talking Manchester United. We're talking furious INEOS and Sir Jim Radcliffe again regarding all of the leaks surrounding Manchester United. The pressure it's building on RUBEN Amorim. We're talking transfers again for January. I know it's early, but some leaks are coming out. And some good news for Manchester United. Some very, very good news, which I'm going to talk about later on in this show as well, everyone. Yes! I needed something, but yeah, we'll talk about that a bit later. We'll get through the serious stuff first of all, though, because Manchester United and a report coming out last night, again, as expected, to be honest. Like, it doesn't matter who's even reporting this, because you'd expect the situation that's developed at Manchester United again now, one that we've all known as Man United fans to be rife at Manchester United with the leaks and that culture of blaming somebody else and just letting the media know about it. Now, forever and a day, all the way through this week since the Manchester derby, forever and a day is probably the wrong way of putting that there, but the last 4 days, let's just say that, Manchester United in the news for all the wrong reasons, and the journalists that will be in the press conference tomorrow absolutely slaughtering the football club, feeding off that dead, wounded carcass which is Manchester United right now, like vultures. That's what it seems like, and it's there again, and we've seen it. I'm not going to mention names. You all know who they are in terms of journalists that are reporting on this and that are going to be asking the same questions again tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another Ten Hag situation where certain journalists are not welcome into Manchester United the way that they've actually gone at the club this week. But there is some serious news going around regarding problems behind the scenes at Manchester United that we've reported on. Now, INEOS are not happy one bit and are not impressed with something that they thought they'd eradicated. In fact, a report from Graham Bailey, which I'll just read out to you right now, pretty much tells you everything you need to know around where they're actually at with it again right now. It's not good for Manchester United. The report reads and understands that INEOS are furious about RUBEN Amorim being undermined by sources attributed to the dressing room. Insider Graham Bailey explains that one thing the club are furious about is the potential of leaks again. Seeing stories about players and squad members not being convinced by Amorim or his tactics. The club thought they had really stamped this out. They see it as a totally destructive to what they are trying to do. So destructive for what they're trying to do. United firmly believe they are building something, but they won't and can't allow internal discontent to impact on the club as a whole. Former Manchester United bosses' job security was undercut by dressing room leaks which occurred prior to Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Erik ten Hag's departures. Like we were speaking about yesterday, about these stories being exactly the same as what they always are, and we've seen this movie before. It's pretty much what he's explaining here. With the United leadership group still steadfast behind the man they appointed, they want a supportive environment around him, and the players are pulling in the same direction. Well, that's what they want anyway. United are only 4 league games into the 25-26 season, having faced title contenders Arsenal and City in the opening games. And that, they go on to a lot of other fluff as well in there, but that basically breaks it down. INEOS are not happy, and this rolls into the actual debate of whether it is knee-jerk reaction to what's going on or not at Manchester United. But quickly, before we get into the details and the nitty-gritty of that article there and what's going on at Manchester United, just remember, like, don't be, and I'm not trying to spin a negative narrative here at all. Sorry, I thought not turn my light on. Not willing to obviously try and push this. Like, everyone's welcome to their opinions, and don't think that your opinion is wrong just because an article comes out saying that the unrest is not helping RUBEN Amorim. Look, results are not bad, and reports like this will go out. United will tell journalists to report this sort of thing and feed this information into the media after what they thought was unjust information and leaks, and what they're saying are really destructive reports coming from certain members of the media. So there'll be media that they go to, that they put this story out with, try to drive the positive. Everyone's behind Ruben Amorim. So you're going to get this. And then some fans will start to think, maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I did sort of jump the gun a little bit here with saying that this is a bit too, this is too much to take. Ruben needs to go, or so on and so forth. Look, you're completely entitled to your opinions. And anybody thinking that you are wrong in that is wrong themselves. It's an opinion-based show that we do here, and opinions and banter and debate in football is fantastic. That's what we love about it. Not one person is the same. So this story is put out to try and put doubt into people's minds about what you're seeing right now on the pitch. You know what you're seeing, you know what you're worried about, and you know the situation Manchester United are in. You cannot ignore the facts, you cannot ignore the stats. Some stats look good, but the important ones look bad. It's up to you how you want to take it. Look, I'm fully behind Ruben Amorim as long as he adapts to what he's got to do and he does his job. I don't think he is at the moment, and that's my issue with him. I don't want him to go yet. I want him to succeed, but I've said this before, he's not helping himself. But this report coming out, it isn't helping him, isn't helping the football club, and to be honest, it's not helping the players, because all this is doing is turning the fans against the players again. And it's being pushed from Ruben's side over to the players' side. So really, Manchester United are just at fault as much as the leaks that are coming out of the football club here as well. It's like they're trying to say that everything is okay at the football club when it's not. There is always going to be discontent in Manchester United while things are bad on the pitch, like we've always said. Nobody even cares about who's not playing or who's being mistreated at Manchester United if you're winning. That's it. It's as simple as that. And we are losing, so everything gets dug up. So I think the club have put this out just to try and calm things around Ruben Amorim. It kind of shows that, in a way, they are behind him. But again, like we're not stupid. We know what's happening. We know that Manchester United need results. We cannot afford to be going into October, November, still in the bottom half of the table. I think everybody knows that is going to be the cut-off for Ruben Amorim. We're right behind him, and we're right behind the team every time we go out on the pitch, and they get more support, and I think from this fan base, more backing than any other in the Premier League or in the world. I think the Manchester United fan base is levels above everybody else when it comes to support, and sometimes blind support for managers and certain players at the football club. And I think that's admirable. It is. But look, this report and what's going on at Manchester United, it is more concerning rather than the report and what it said and what they're unhappy about and the media and everything like that. It's more concerning in a way that, like the report says there, and I'll just read the line again from it, which says, former Manchester United boss's job security was undercut by dressing room leaks, which occurred prior to Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Erik ten Hag's departures. Now, you know all of them managers had this same scenario which is going on right now. So if you've got an opinion about this, and you're thinking there's no way back for Ruben Amorim, it's not because you don't like Ruben Amorim. It's not because you're not backing Ruben Amorim. It's because you've seen it all before. And in your mind, you know what's coming. And that's what's, I think, being detached from people's opinions of, like, you're not backing, you're not a real Manchester United fan. We can't do the same thing again and get rid of another manager. Nobody's saying that. Everybody's seen the poor results on the pitch and are not happy. Some people are quite steadfast in their opinion and they want him out right now. But I think the majority of people never wanted Ruben to go. They all thought that Ruben was the right man, but it's not gone right on the pitch. So they can run this and try and get behind him, and that's all good and well. But then you have now got pressure again mounting. They just didn't need to get involved in this, to be honest. And again, like, if Graham Bailey is reporting this from people at the top of the football club, then the people at the top of the football club are just as bad as the people at the bottom for leaking their side of the story out as well. Because there's always two sides to this. So it's tit for tat, and I don't really care. All I care about is results on the pitch, and people in a professional business like Manchester United and a massive football club being qualified to do what they do. I don't think there's people at the club that really are qualified to do what they do high up. I don't. I think it's better now than what it was. I don't think the players on the pitch sometimes are qualified or good enough to do what they're supposed to do at this level of football. But it is just a mess, and it is United because of the size of the football club. This is why this is happening. One way or another, you have to commit to a decision. You commit to dealing with Ruben Amorim and sieving out everybody else out of this football club until he gets the players he wants, and just going full on in, I think we are going to lose some fan favourite players in doing so. Maybe some fans are happy to do that, and that's the way that this needs to move forward now. Or you get rid of RUBEN, and what a lot of people are then would saying is you've given in to the players yet again. Well, that's the thing, because right now we're looking at players here. I don't think, if you're talking culture-wise, I don't think there's many left. I really don't. You are right now, and this is what's being driven, and this is what I'm seeing on social media now. All I see now is because of this situation, is fans picking out certain players that they feel, and don't know, but they feel are the problem now. And you can hear even pundits saying the same thing. Luke Shaw, stealing a living at Manchester United. Well, the same old leadership group is there, the likes of Dalot, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire. These types of players are still at the football club, then we're never going to move anywhere. New players that have moved into this mould and are part of this sort of group now are just as bad as well. And we're guessing about what's happening here as a fan base. And everything is just unravelling to a point where nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. Nobody knows whose opinion's right or wrong. And it's just a complete and utter mess. And nobody's got the answers to fixing what the problem is at Manchester United. Not one person knows how to fix United. Someone has to come out and make a decision and stick to it. And we, the fans, are going to have to suffer no matter what. So, while you are a fan and some people may not think your opinion is right, where there are some pundits that are shooting down certain fans, some people calling fans out, you are the ones that are paying, you are the ones that are suffering. So keep your voice heard, keep talking, keep raising your opinions and concerns about Manchester United, because you're the ones that are running this football club. And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise, because that is how it's being played. People actually blaming fans for having opinions on what's going on right now is absolutely ridiculous. It's a joke. And I've seen it. I've seen it on social media. I've seen it with some pundits. I've seen it with some TV and radio as well. Fans are the problem. No, we're not. Fans are never the problem. We've got no say whatsoever about how this football club is run. It's an absolute joke, and we're embarrassed because of it, and we're taking banter because of the way this football club is run. It's the players, it's the coaches, it's the ownership, it's everything at Manchester United, and how it's completely deteriorated. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you make decisions that work at football clubs, like other clubs have hit the ground running with new managers, new ownerships coming, and it's taken off. Not at Manchester United. We had our good time. We are still massive, as the results and the financial figures show yesterday. But everything as it is at the moment looks bad and will be driven down that negative road while the results are not coming on the pitch. And just an overall sort of look on how things are out there. Nobody is better than the next person. INEOS and the ownership and reports coming from them are just as bad as reports coming out from the players and the leaks coming out from the football club. Nothing helps any of the situation at all. But INEOS not being happy about it and trying to build this culture around RUBEN Amorim, yeah, I bet they're not happy about it. I don't really care if they're not happy about it. Just deal with it. Deal with it and get the job done. Like, commit one way or the other and fix this. And again, don't shout out fans, or people don't shout out fans for having a certain opinion, is all I'm saying regarding this, because we all have our thoughts, we all have our own opinions on what's going on at Manchester United, and we're just unhappy. Everyone wants the best for the football club, and at the moment, it's crap, innit? It is. It's horrible to watch. And seeing this club suffer the way it is going to affect everybody's judgment, I feel. They just want to see good times come back again. No, in fact, no one's feeling like we should be or have any God-given right to be successful at this football club. Everyone just wants to see us compete. That's all we want. It's not much to ask for the money that's being spent on these players and how much they're getting. It isn't, is it? And that's RUBEN, that's the players, that's everyone at the football club. Complete mess. And everybody else is at each other's throats because of it. It's not fair on us, really, is it? That's where we're at. Right, let's get into some comments on this. Regarding the leaks and everything, we've seen this before. Does anyone have another opinion of it and what the problem is? I know we all know who we think it might be and what players might be causing the problem. Maybe time is the only thing that takes this away from Manchester United. Maybe certain players being sold in the future and United just having to wait out until everybody's gone is the only way this changes. We've maybe got a bit more time to suffer yet with everything that's going on. Right, so let's just see where we're at now with some of these comments. Let's get some in. INEOS and Sir Jim Radcliffe should be furious at themselves that they have created this mess by getting into bed with the Glazers when a full sale was there. It wasn't there though, mate. It wasn't there. Factually and information-wise, it wasn't there, mate. There was never any bid from Qatar, so we can't say full sale was there because it wasn't. And that's in writing. That is there in writing when you go and check up on it. So we can't say full sale was there, mate. All right, let's just see. INEOS should check all players' phone and social media. Not legal, but there is something majorly wrong at Manchester United. You're never going to be able to do that. Look, because Manchester United is so big, people are always going to want to talk about it. The problem you've got is, like, I just don't think the club is any better than at the top end of the scale as it is to the bottom. Like where's Graham Bailey got this information from? Who's told him that? You could say that that's a leak from the top, whereas the leaks coming out from Chris Wheeler, Disco Dave and Samuel Luckhurst at the bottom, they're leaks from the players' side. Like, it doesn't matter. It's both coming together and causing a bleeding storm that's the problem, and we're the only ones that are going to suffer because of it, because there's so much unrest at the football club. Right. Let's see what else we've got in here. Teddy, Amorim needs about £1 billion to play his way. INEOS have not realised that. In my opinion, that is the board's fault. Every manager needs a lot of money at the top to be successful. You don't have to look at Pep Guardiola. There are certain basics that you can do with what you've got, though. And I think, I'll say this again, I think Man United have got good players, and I think we should be doing a lot better than what we're doing right now. I feel fully confident in saying that as well. So they do need to. Chinese Whispers comes to mind, says Robbie with a super chat. Rating with another one says, for me, I don't do player favourites. The problem with United is Manchester United, the team, the board, not one person. There is a real issue with Manchester United behind the scenes that nobody can put the finger on. Yeah. INEOS cut lots of things being run trip, running to the ground, I think that's supposed to say. Typo central there, sorry. Can't trust anyone running the show. This ownership is a mess. Apparently, there is pressure. There's a few more journalists writing about the pressure on RUBEN Amorim because of them financial results that have come out. I've seen Rich Fay write a piece about the pressure that Amorim is under now as well, because of the job cuts and all of the money that we talked about yesterday that's been saved at Manchester United to then be spent onto RUBEN Amorim and this first team squad that INEOS have backed him with, and we have to say that they have. So again, like, pressure is on RUBEN Amorim on this side of things. So I think there is a bit of balance to the argument here. The players need to stand up. RUBEN has had money to spend. If he's not playing players in the right position or playing players that have been bought for him, then that is on RUBEN, and people will ask questions on that. But again, like the job cuts, the people losing their jobs at Manchester United, everyone that has suffered at the football club, to raise that little bit more money for Manchester United, like I said, as we've seen in them financial figures that have just been released, does add pressure to RUBEN Amorim and what he's got to achieve at Manchester United with it. So yeah, I do think that RUBEN does need to realise that as well. And he has spoke about it, to give RUBEN credit, actually. He said that we are in charge. We have created this environment. We need to make this environment better for everybody else. We are the ones that are in charge of people's futures at this football club. Because if we're not successful, then there will be more cuts just to try and survive. And that's where we're at. That's where Manchester United are right now. Let's get a few more comments in before we move on to other topics as well. Adam De Zerbi had Marseille go toe-to-toe with Madrid and look at the players, look at the players they have. I'm done with Amorim. This is what people will do. They will look at other managers and what they have managed to accomplish. And why RUBEN hasn't been able to do that at Manchester United. That's what they'll always use. Is always an example to go against and compare against, I think. Didn't Qatar not provide proof of funds yet? That's what I was talking about, Robert. There was no official bid. There was never a full buyout for Manchester United. That, according to multiple reports in the financial sector, there's nothing there to look at formally that was offered to Manchester United. There's just talk. So we do need to look at that as well and remember that. I wish it was full sale. I'm with you. I really do. But I just not seen enough to convince myself that there was anything there. But look, in time again, I don't know what's around the corner business-wise for Manchester United or ownership-wise for the football club. Maybe there is something in the pipeline a few years down the line. Maybe INEOS will sell up after building it up into something even more valuable when the new stadium comes, when the new infrastructure around the stadium comes and things like that. Let's not forget, INEOS are set to make money themselves from the new build of the stadium. And that's something that everyone needs to remember as well, because they do own a lot of grounds and rights around Old Trafford. Very clever business move from them. We'll see how that develops in time when we do eventually get down to seeing if the stadium is going to happen. But yeah, there's a lot to play out yet, I think, in the ownership side of things with Manchester United. And I think there is probably more twists to come regarding it. Whether the Glazers stay, whether this sale of their shares in Nice that is being reported from France is going to happen, where INEOS are going to spend that money. Because then if they do sell that, then they have got that there. They have got cash reserved there, then that is there to spend. Do they plough it into Manchester United to try and take more power? Are they going to invest where United need investment? Let's not forget, you are allowed as an owner to offset some of the PSR rules. United, under the Glazers, have never put anything in and have never been able to help Manchester United, or they've not been willing to help Manchester United financially at all, the Glazers. INEOS have done. They have invested money in. Sir Jim's money was used to counter PSR and get around certain financial issues and black holes. So if they're willing to do that again, we don't know. We just don't know. But one thing we do need to remember is at least they actually put money in. The Glazers never. And it is the Glazers' fault we are where we are right now. You can talk about players, managers and everything. The ones that were running the ship are the ones that get the blame. And that's why a lot of people are probably looking at INEOS now, because the Glazers are forgotten about, because they're not at the forefront. They're not talking. They're not on the ground. They're not in the stadium. The ones that are in sight are INEOS, and that's who people are going to go after. Anyway, wanting to move on from that as well. I'll move on to the transfer news next, but good news, I did say we did have some good news, and that is that Matheus Cunha is not far away from return. He's back training on grass, on his own individual training, back on grass now, Matheus Cunha. He's not going to be rushed for the Chelsea game this weekend, though, so he's not going to play this weekend. That's come out from Sully last night regarding Matheus Cunha, so that is great news for Manchester United to have Cunha back. I do think we missed him in that game, and you can see why Ruben wants him there. He wants them characters and players that have got that extra X factor, and Cunha does have that. It is a shame that he's not fit for the Chelsea game, but I think what we're looking at here is possibly the Brentford game coming back, hopefully. He's definitely going to feature this month anyway for Manchester United before the international break. That's for certain now that he's back on grass. Obviously, we've seen Leacher and the pictures of him back on grass as well. Whether he will feature, I'm not too sure. I think, obviously, in terms of recovery and what he's having to go through with that bad knee injury, it's different to what Cunha's had to go through. I think Cunha's being a muscle injury is probably a bit better in terms of recovery time, but Cunha walks straight back into Manchester United's side. That's a given. So again, this is now going to start raising questions around Ruben Amorim again and how he balances this, doesn't it? So Cunha coming back in, I think is what? Is that going to be Benjamin Sesko back on the bench again? And this is why people are going to doubt what Ruben's doing. You don't spend £73 million on a striker and not play him. It just doesn't happen in football. No club does it. Look, Napoli have just thrown Rasmus Højlund straight into their side. I said it about Newcastle with Voltemeda. He's just gone straight in and scored on his debut at Newcastle. I'm sorry, you have to play Benjamin Sesko. You have to persevere with him and play him into form. I think he has really got something. If you keep leaving him on the bench, then you're going to suffer. He's going to suffer. His confidence is going to be shot. There isn't enough games to not play Benjamin Sesko. You find a way. And that's his problem right there. That is his problem because of Bruno Fernandes also. And this is why it spins around and the pressure is on Ruben Amorim. You roll in the players that he's bought. You roll in the financial problems, the sackings, the people that have lost their jobs, the pressure on Manchester United to succeed after doing so much, to spend so much like we did do in this summer. And the people that he's brought in, the people that the club have brought in, the pressure on him to get a tune out of this team is now immense on Ruben Amorim. So, again, This now comes down to what he does and whether or not these weeks in between games that we all sit here suffering and talking about the downside and the negative side of Manchester United and what's going on at this football club, all of that now starts creeping in to everyone's talks. Ruben, hopefully, this week at Carrington, with no media activities at all, because obviously we're not in Europe, with no circus around the club, has done something at training this week, realised something, or had the chat, because he knows, and from the top of the week, when we first started, that 1 foot out of the door story, people around Ruben Amorim staggered that his job isn't under threat right now. What he's doing, threatening to keep and be stubborn about the way that he's playing. Look, we can talk about this, and this is the hard thing about being a United fan, because we talk about it all week, and then he just goes and plays the team completely different to what we're hoping and thinking he might do, or the way that he's going to set the team out at weekend. It's so painful. But Cunha coming back is massive for Ruben. I think he needs that character back in his side again. I think he definitely needs someone in that team that is going to give him that X factor again. Honestly, when it comes to the Chelsea game as well, I fully expect to see Senna Lamens. Otherwise, I'm asking questions and I'm doubting Ruben again. I don't want to, but I'm being forced into doubting him because of what he's doing and how he's playing. I don't want to at all. I've seen his system work elsewhere. I've seen what he's done behind the scenes with players. I've seen him actually out players that are a problem at the club that we've been calling out for years. But I need to see someone on the pitch. I really do, and I'm not. I'm sorry. I can't defend him on that side of things. And there's nothing I am going to do to defend Ruben Amorim for what I'm watching on the pitch. Only thing I've got is that he realised where the problem was culturally at Manchester United instantly. And I hold on to that, but that's not enough. And people are going to come back at me and say, Adam, is that all you're clinging on to? Have you seen the league table? Have you seen how badly we're playing? Have you seen how easy it is for teams to play against Manchester United? So the good news for Ruben could be the bad news for Ruben as well, because it's going to cause him a bit of a headache as to who to play. Because I fully believe that Ahmad and Mainu, like we said yesterday, will be the ones that miss out when players like Matheus Cunha come back into the side. So, yeah, I am worried and I am concerned. Is he going to go back to playing the three players up top? The only saving grace we've got here, I think, is by the three players up top. I mean the 3 10s. It's not. And I don't want to sound like I'm not grateful here or I'm putting anybody down in any way. But we haven't heard about Mason Mount. Now, straight away, I'm thinking, for God's sake, here we go again. Like, when you don't hear about Mount, you fear for Mason Mount, and nobody's saying anything. And now we're on to what? We're creeping in now to the 4th week for Mason Mount. There's no sign of him. If he doesn't feature in this group of games at all, then you're looking then at another 6-week layoff for Mason Mount, and still nothing. And here we go again. And honestly, that's another player. If this injury does turn out to be another one which keeps him out for a couple of months, then that's it. I am done. Go play whatever you can in the moments that you get in the rest of the season, Mason Mount. But this guy needs to be sold this summer. So, again, Ruben Amorim having Cunha back could be a problem, but not having Mason Mount back might actually benefit him a little bit, and that's what I meant by I don't think I'm saying this the wrong way. It's not like I want Mason Mount to be out injured. I like Mason Mount, but I'm sick to death of talking about his injury record. Cunha coming back, you could have Cunha and Mbumo, and you could have Benjamin Sesko there. There's your front three. Like, no excuse not to play that. At least we've got that in this system, because if he's stubbornly going to keep what he's doing and play the same way, then at least we know we're going to have Benjamin Sesko up front with Cunha and Mbumo around him. I want to see how that works. Them three need to play together, because that's what you've invested so much time and money on in the summer. So they need to play. So at least we've got that. The mess behind it, I've got no hope for. Honestly, I've got no hope unless he changes, like I said, at the top of the week. He needs to change his shape, Ruben Amorim, and adapt to what's going on. Mazraoui at right wing back? No. It's not happening. It's not happening at all. Dorgu will get better. I've heard people slaughter Dorgu, saying he's not good enough. His final end product isn't there. It's not. He's 20, and hopefully it will get better. I'll give him a little bit more time. Mazraoui, though, no. I'm sorry. Honestly, if I'm going into this weekend, if he is going to insist on that back three, it's Mazraoui, De Ligt and Yoro at the back three. That's what you go with. If you want Mazraoui in that side, you play him there in that back three, because he is not going to offer you anything going forward. He hasn't got an end product, but he's a right back. He's not a right wing back. And this again is up to Ruben Amorim. I think you have to go again with Ahmad at right wing. You have to commit to what you've gone with. You brought in the 10s and moved Ahmad out. He's one of them players that Ruben gave a new contract to, so he believes in him, in what he was doing at Manchester United before Ruben came in, and while Ruben was there at 10. So, again, like worst case scenario, like you cannot give up on Ahmad now at right wing back all of a sudden, because you're going to end up losing the player. And that's the player that I do believe has got something, and I think definitely needs to be in this side. So he has to be in there, surely, doesn't he? I mean, you've got to. You've got to commit, because attacking-wise, that gives you more options. And I think his performances haven't been great, don't get me wrong. But that's because probably he's not played in the right positions and he's been moved around a lot. So look, there is a part of it where I'm thinking that Ahmad does need to step up. He does need to perform better. I can't let him get away with it. He has been poor so far this season in certain situations and in nearly every game that he's played in, to be honest. Not convinced by him at all. But I think he's got the right mentality, Ahmad, and I think he will come back and be stronger for Manchester United. But that's what I think at least will happen, and that is the good news, that you're going to have Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo playing before we go for the next international break. We need to see that team. But Mount, I'm done with. So, by the way, just my outs for the summer at this point for this club to move forward, my outs would be Maguire, Casemiro, Bruno, Dalot, Luke Shaw and Mason Mount. Them 6 players. If Mason Mount's injury is what I've just said it is, they're my 6 to go this summer. And I don't think they're difficult to get rid of. Maguire and Casemiro contracts are over, send them on the way. Terminate Luke Shaw's contract, 1 year left, send him on his way. There's 3 senior players out of the door. And then you start to look at bringing players in. Bruno Fernandes will go Saudi and give us probably the money we need that's going to cover the loss of what we're not in competition-wise and prize money from this season if nothing changes. And Mason Mount, you probably draw even with. Now he's, 3 years into his contract at Manchester United. You've probably paid the majority of that 50 plus million. You take a 25 million, 30 million transfer fee for Mason Mount maybe. Or even sending him out on loan right now to get better or something like that. I just get a loan fee for him for a couple of seasons maybe. Look, at the end of the day, he needs to be out of the way so we can move forward, I feel, at this point. But that's only if Mason Mount's injury does come out to be something. I'm just sick of him not being available. Right, comments, and then we'll move into the other news, which is transfer related, based off what we've actually been saying there in terms of players that could be giving up on Manchester United. Manny with a super chat. Cheers, Manny. Thank you very much, my man. Ahmad needs a spell on the bench. Has been very poor. My solution, push Mbeumo to right wing back. No, Manny. No. We're talking about round pegs in square holes here, mate. You're putting hexagon pegs in round holes here. No, never in a million years do you put Mbeumo at right wing back. Come on, mate. Pushing Mbeumo to right wing back, Cunha on the left, Sesko in the middle, Bruno on the right, Agate and Mainu in the pivot. It's not going to happen, mate. Not at all. And Mbeumo at right wing back, never in a million years. Not going to happen, mate. It just doesn't suit what we need in this team and what Mbeumo brings for us. Him having to think about the defensive duties of this formation rather than what he does going forward. Leading goal scorer, by the way. So we're not putting him at right wing back. Come on, you've got to be serious now. Hi Adam, if Ruben will change his system, he's going to look like a right mug. No, he's not. This is the myth as well, and start to be questioned. So what, does he just give up now? Does he just give up because the players can't do it? Look, you have to adapt. Because he feels like you cannot think like that. This is Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson had to adapt. He changed his formation constantly and adapted. The best managers on the planet adapt and change their system. They go a different way. They don't completely change. They adapt. You don't do what Ten Hag did and give up on everything, which was the press, which was the players that he had up front and what they did and what the triggers were that he was working on all pre-season, and give up after 2 games. You don't give up like that. you change it a little bit, and he can subtly do it as well, mate. He's not going to look like a mug. I think he'll get even more respect for changing it up, because that way he can put players in that he still likes. And look at it this way. If you're talking about giving up and players not playing, let's just say, for instance, you're thinking about the culture of Manchester United and these same players seeing out another manager. And if Ruben changes his system now, then them players are going to win. Who are them players? Well, straight away, you can make this work by saying, okay, at left back in a back four, for instance, you play Dorgu. That's his player. At right back, you play Mazraoui. So straight away there, you haven't got Dalot, you haven't got Shaw, and in the middle, you've got De Ligt and Yoro, and you haven't got Maguire. So there's 3 of the so-called player-winning players that could come out of this and say that we've won here. That's out of the equation completely now, because he's still got his players in there, and they can still do similar roles in that formation. And then you could possibly play Ugarte and Casemiro and not play Mainu. I would play Mainu. Personally, I think he does need to suck that one up. You could play Mainu and Ugarte, or Mainu and Casemiro in front of them. And then you can put Bruno in at the 10. And then you've got Sesko in front of him, Cunha on one side, and Mbeumo on the other side. Ahmad has to fight his way back into the 10 positions, either Bruno's, either Cunha's, or Mbeumo's. There's 3 positions there in 10s, all of a sudden, that have opened up, or wide players that Ahmad can compete in as well, because he can play all the way across. And that's when you start to build squad depth and squad strength. And I think that formation instantly with this team and the way that Ruben has got them working works for Manchester United. I really do. Just looking through the other news and reports that is coming in this morning. Yeah, fun fact from last night. Chelsea have never won a game while Garnacho has been part of the matchday squad. Yeah, it's not working out for Chelsea and Garnacho, is it, at the moment? Early days, but yes, the grass isn't always greener, as they say. Now, there is other news regarding the transfers. Let me just quickly bring up anything else that might have happened. Yeah, updates on Cunha again, like we've already spoken about. And Manchester United apparently looking at Brentford's midfielder. About Brentford's midfielder, I can say his name right. It's Yehor Yarmouk, I think is how you say it. So they're looking at other options in midfield. So this is being talked about again. And United purely looking at proven players once again. And Yarmouk from Brentford, another player that, look, we don't know. We don't know if he's going to be able to hack it at Manchester United. All we know is that this player has played in the Premier League and has played in the intensity of the Premier League and he's thrived. I think this is what what we're going to see now. You're going to see the majority of Manchester United signings coming from players they know can actually cut it. They're going to need to build a base of players that are used to playing in the Premier League. Now, everyone can come back and say, well, Adam, haven't the Manchester United players got used to playing in the Premier League? Yeah, we just failed at playing in the Premier League. And that, I think, is how you look at it right now with Manchester United. I think there is a concern and an issue behind the scenes. I think there are problems and unrest. Like we talked about the leaks and everything like that. Maybe United are trying to eradicate that by moving players on. But right at the top of the show when I said it, you need to commit one way or the other. It's get rid of Ruben or fully back him and move more players on and bring more players in. That's the only way Ruben survives, quite clearly. He hasn't got the players that he wants to work in his system. If you're going to back this system, you're backing more in the transfer market, and you're getting more players, or you get rid of him. Which way do you go? Sorry, I've got the hiccups. Talking too fast. Football Insider are actually reporting about a link for Jean-Philippe Mateta to Manchester United, with Spurs also interested in it. Apparently, Manchester United have been told a price of 40 million. Now, interesting part about Jean-Philippe Mateta is that he has not signed a contract, and he is, at the end of this season, out of contract at Crystal Palace. He's a free agent. That's the interesting bit with Jean-Philippe Mateta at the moment, and why you look at this transfer news and go, yeah, it's October, September, why are we even talking about transfers? Well, maybe Crystal Palace would look to cash in January. Maybe Manchester United need that extra centre forward. We do. We need cover up there. as well. And we need someone to compete alongside Benjamin Sesko. And maybe there is a real chance here of getting an established quality striker for under 50 million with Premier League proven experience in Jean-Philippe Mateta. I don't know. And obviously, it's transfer news. We're not too bothered about it at the moment. But you kind of gets to thinking, don't you? Like what Manchester United could do. Could we go out and spend 70 million on Yarmouk and Jean-Philippe Mateta in the January transfer window? So there's a midfielder and a striker in instantly for United. I feel like Manchester United should always have 2 or 3 number 9s at the football club. I'm amazed that we've only got 1 right now. Amazed. You know what? In all of this, we've not even mentioned Joshua Zirkzee, by the way. I think he probably has to go at the end of the summer if he's not featuring. And this is all if Ruben Amorim actually stays at Manchester United. I don't think there's any room for Zirkzee. I don't think that there is probably room for Kobbie Mainoo at this stage. I don't want this to happen. And a different formation would definitely get more out of this team. 100% it would get more out of this team. But if you're going to stick with Ruben Amorim, then you're going to have to give Ruben Amorim more. You're going to have to give him more players. You're going to have to spend more money. And unfortunately, you're going to have to, well, get rid of some players that we probably thought were the future of this football club, but are clearly not under Ruben's eyes. This is the backing that INEOS need to give Ruben Amorim. And it's a backing that a lot of Man United fans are probably not going to be happy with. I don't think there's going to be many that are fully supportive of more money being spent on Ruben Amorim right now anyway. We've had a poll running as well. Will United beat Chelsea on Saturday? 63% of you have said no so far. Get your votes in on the poll in the chat, everybody, please. Let me know what you're thinking. Will Manchester United turn it around on Saturday? Also, why did we replace an inexperienced striker with an even less inexperienced one? Too many bad decisions. We didn't, because Benjamin Sesko has been competing in the Champions League and the Bundesliga a bit longer than what Rasmus Højlund has when he came in, or was when Rasmus Højlund came in. So that one I don't believe in. So I think when we look at it that way, I think Benjamin Sesko is a different calibre of striker than Rasmus Højlund. He holds the ball up 20 times better than what Rasmus Højlund does as well. We've committed to that now, and we can talk about certain decisions that have been made, decisions that we don't like, wrong decisions in our opinions, but we have to deal with it now. We have to just go with it. And ultimately, it's going to come down to Ruben. Again, it's all coming down on him, isn't it? The pressure is there on him right now. And I just don't know. I honestly don't know, and I couldn't tell anyone right now. I've got my opinions, and you all know what they are, but I don't know how he survives. I think we'll beat Chelsea, but then we will lose to Brentford. I'm fully convinced we'll lose to Brentford. I just think the intensity in which they play, I feel, is too much for Manchester United. And away from home, we just can't seem to handle it. I think at Old Trafford, we've still got a chance of beating anybody. And I think we proved that against Arsenal. We should have at least got a draw out of that game or beaten Arsenal. And Burnley, we battered them. I just think that United at home is where we actually, I feel, have a chance. I think that's the only way. The only way I think we're going to win back-to-back games is when we get a stage in the season where we've got a league game straight after a league game at Old Trafford. That's the only way I think that United can actually get that back-to-back wins, because I don't think we're going to beat anybody away from home. Chelsea play fluid, flowing, attacking football with a solid midfield and defence. Not last night, mate, Ivan. If you watched us last night, the link to Football Talks is there. If you haven't already subscribed to our other channel, Football Talks, it's there in the live chat, everybody. But yeah, we covered the watch-along last night for Chelsea. Chelsea were absolutely pummeled by Bayern Munich last night. They were outclassed in every department. But for Cole Palmer and Sanchez, Chelsea would have been humiliated last night at Bayern Munich. And again, we have done some good things this season, because Garnacho has been brought up there, and a point's been made about Garnacho, about Chelsea not winning any games while Garnacho's been in the squad. I think he's feeling forced into putting Garnacho on the pitch. Chelsea did us a huge favour in taking Garnacho. Honestly, him right now in Man United's squad would be an absolute nightmare. I'm so happy that he's gone. And watching him come on the pitch and doing his bits, it just reminds me of what it was at Manchester United. He's not a player you need when the chips are down. And he's already let Chelsea down once against Brentford. I'm not saying last night was a problem for Garnacho, but again, it's a player there that thought he should be playing better, and a lot of fans backed him on it at Manchester United. He's got into Chelsea, and he's on the bench. Again, he's just going to sit on the bench and not feature. It'll be interesting to see how much game time and what reception Garnacho gets at Old Trafford on Saturday. That will. And I think it'll just add... I think it'll add to the tension of the game. And we need it to be tense. We need it to be a little bit bitter and a little bit scrappy, that game, to beat and compete against Chelsea. So I'm hoping that Garnacho comes on the pitch. I do. I really hope he starts the game, because I think he weakens Chelsea massively. Hi Adam, I think he has to do better with what he currently has. No miracles, just do better and make better choices in game. If not, I think he's gone. A lot of people were talking about Ruben's substitutes and in-game management as well. Like, how many times does he have to change his centre-backs or make a centre-back substitute? It's like he does it every single game. I don't agree with a lot of what Gary Albonglahor says on the radio, but he says centre-backs play the whole game unless they're injured. I'm a centre-back. He's right. You never change your centre-back partnership mid-game for a tactical reason. There's nothing. Like, your centre-backs are your centre-backs, and they play all the way through. You won't see any other football club, unless they're 3 or 4-0 up with 10 minutes to go, making a substitute for a centre-back. Never. They always stay on the pitch, and they stay on right to the end. They are the backbone. They are the linchpin to hold everything together. And changing them, like, honestly, I've got nothing against Harry Maguire, but watching him chase Erling Haaland against Manchester City at weekend just convinced me even more. Like, well done, Harry. He has been solid the last 2 years for United. But still, solid in 2 years where United have had their worst ever Premier League seasons. He isn't that good. He isn't. United need to move past it. I like him. He's a good defender. But he's 33 in March, and we need to move on. Manchester United right now are in, I think, the most important phase. The end. Like we said, I will judge INEOS in 3 years. I think at the end of this next transfer window, we will see how ruthless INEOS are, because them players that I said need to leave this football club do need to leave this football club. And that is Luke Shaw, Dalot, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Harry Maguire and Mason Mount, if this injury turns out to be the one that I think it might be again with Mason Mount. And them players leaving, them 6 first-team players leaving, that would be it. Everyone's gone. Everyone's gone from Manchester United that's been part of this so-called culture that we were talking about last night and talking about this morning, the leaks, the reports, all of the unrest behind the scenes. Everyone's gone. So who's to blame then? If it starts going wrong again, who are you going to blame? Are you going to keep on blaming the players? We've nearly got rid of everyone. Everyone. You've gone from the McFreds to being moved out of Manchester United. Rasmus Højlund and Onana are out of this football club. The quality's gone. The petulant, entitled prima donnas of Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Alejandro Garnacho, the Anthony problem, they're all gone. If you get rid of these other players now, and let's not make one thing clear here, Bruno Fernandes, I think, gets a bad rap from Manchester United fans. I really do. I really do. But all I'm saying here is everyone's been complaining about has left the football club after next summer. If them players go, they've all gone. There's no one left. Is there anyone left out of that squad there that have missed that you could bring into these sort of unrest sort of problems behind the scenes that people have been moaning about within this fan base? INEOS have come in within 3 transfer windows. They've got rid of all of that and changed it around. Then you start to look at the manager and go, you need to be doing more. I think Ruben needs to be doing more now with what's been moved on and what's been brought in. I really do. But look, time is needed, and time, unfortunately, is not what Ruben is going to get right now. He's not. Let's get a few more comments in just before we finish up. Sadsak says, Maguire, Dorgu, Ugarte, Casemiro, Bruno, Shaw, Dalot all need to go and be sold. Dorgu doesn't. He doesn't. I disagree with that one. He's not had any chance, really. So I agree with everyone else, to be honest, mates, at this point now. Boxing says they all need to leave, but has everyone got confidence in the board will bring in better players? Well, I think they have brought in better players. Mazraoui, I like Delit, I like Yoro, I like Xerxes. Well, not Xerxes. I like Sesko Cunha, I like Mbumo. We'll see what the goalkeeper is. This board has brought in good players. The transfers that they brought in, the players they brought in, I haven't got a problem with them. Maybe Agate, probably the worst one. Xerxes, I don't even know why we bought him, because there's no room for him. That was another one of them Mason Mount players that Man United just didn't need. I don't know why. It's ridiculous. He wasn't a striker at Bologna, and we still brought him in. We needed a number 9. So again, that's the only one I would say that doesn't fit. Any player who was here prior to Amorim and needs to go, including Bruno, because they have all been in the toxic dressing room. It says Philip. Anyone who's experienced it is what Philip is saying there. Heaven should be playing ahead of Shaw. You've got Heaven there as well. That was brought in. I think that's a good signing as well. Adello is not a terrible player, but he is very... he is the very definition of bang average, and yet he is seemingly Ruben's star man. That also will get him buried, Ruben Amorim. We keep blaming players, and players we blamed last time, 90% aren't here anymore. It's true, from Carl. The only one that's our core leadership... My God, typos in that one, Carl. Killed me on that one. The only ones left, I think he's supposed to say there, is the core leadership group, which is the players we've just mentioned there. And we will see, won't we? Make some room for some academy players coming through. We're about to unleash an absolute masterclass crop of players coming through this academy. I just hope we get it right before this under-18 batch come through and start knocking on the manager's door. We're talking about Shea Lacey going out on loan. It's the right move for him. Shea Lacey needs to go on loan. He needs to be as far away from his first team as possible. Don't let him get corrupted by what is going on. That, I think, is massively important as well. Quickly, also, before we go, don't forget your match bingo cards, everybody. Champions League night continues over on Football Talks. We've covered the Tuesday, the Wednesday, and tonight it's Manchester City and Napoli and Juventus, Newcastle versus Barcelona. We have got all of them games covered live tonight on Football Talks. Get your match bingo cards now. Use that link in the live chat that's pinned up. Scan the QR code on your screen or the link in the description if you're catching up later on. Grab your match bingo cards now. Download the app off that code or that link. Deposit £5. That will be doubled by Match Bingo as a new customer. And then even if you are an existing customer, pop into the promo code FUTV and be boosted by 200% on your deposit amount, giving you a better chance to win up to 300 quid on any of the games that you buy cards for tonight. You win separate prizes for 5 in a row lines like you would in the bingo hall, 25 quid a line, and upwards of £200 to £300 in jackpots if you get all 15 match events on your bingo card. Dead easy to play. All you do is pick the cards and you're done. Gamble aware, obviously, everybody. You've got to be 18 and above to play, and a UK resident also. Please do get in there and have a ball. You are missing out if you haven't already. We've had loads of people downloading the app and QR code this week. Thank you, everyone, again, if you have already done that. And don't forget our other links in the chat, as you can see on the QR code that is popping in as well in there on OK Jerseys. Christmas is coming, everybody. Grab yourself a bargain right now on OK Jerseys and get any replica shirts out there right now at top quality. Trust me on this. And anyone who has actually bought them already will vouch for that as well. That's our show this morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being on and being part of the debate. We carry on. More will come and more news will be there. I'll have that covered as the day goes on, everybody. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you for everyone who has helped us get to that 100k mark already. We're absolutely buzzing with that. So cheers, everybody. And of course, make sure you pop a like on the video on your way out. I will keep you updated, like I said, throughout the day. Have a good one, people. I'll see you all in a bit. Cheers, mods and everybody. Super chats, new members and new subscribers.